Ayalon Highway and other intersections on Tuesday morning, urging the government to end the war in Gaza and secure the release of the remaining 50 hostages. One person was arrested with a smoke grenade. Demonstrators held signs saying, "We'll stop when everyone returns," and lit bonfires in the street. Hostage families criticized Prime Minister Netanyahu for dragging his feet on negotiations. Dozens also protested outside ministers' homes. Democratic MK Gilad Kariv stressed that protests have previously pushed for deals and promised to continue until all hostages return. This marks the second week of a national strike called by hostage families. Let's listen into what the brother of one of the hostages has said.
Just a week ago, Hamas gave a positive response to the deal that is on the table, the partial deal that can release 10 living hostages and 18 deceased hostages. This deal could have been signed a week ago, and we could have been right now in the midst of this partial deal, in the midst of the talks about the end of the war.
Now we go back to our discussion with Matti Zweig. He's a geopolitical expert, joins us live from Israel. Thank you, Matti, for staying with us. Do you think this internal pressure we are seeing on the screen, do you think this realistically can influence Israel's military's or diplomatic strategy, particularly Netanyahu's government moving forward?
Well, we live this tragedy almost 2 years, and the pressure has been from the beginning. But from the beginning, they were trusting that the government is doing all the steps to free everybody. And the big dilemma, as we always say, is if to continue pushing and causing more and more deaths in order to make Hamas to free them, or to go to an agreement. When Hamas went to talk about agreements like 20 times they say no and no and no. And also Israel, there are some terms that they are not ready to accept, like going out completely from Gaza, because in this way, Hamas is going to stay in power and to rearm themselves and to, as they say themselves, we are going to do more and more 7th of October in the future. So if there is this lack of trust, you cannot really get to a solution. And the families are in the middle of this crossfire. And not only the families, but all the all the society of Israel. And also, I only live 25 kilometers from Tel Aviv to get to my job. I have 1.5 hours to get there because all the roads are really full of people on all the crossroads. Some of them, they are blocking them. Some of them, they are not blocking them. But of course, steam off is not really helping to take them out, because the government say that we don't have a partner to talk about to free the hostages. And people don't know already who to trust, but the question is that the hostages are still inside, still getting rot in the tunnels, while the Hamas is keeping, the only card they have to continue try and keeping themselves alive. And this is the big tragedy.
Yes, Matti. Yes, like you've mentioned that it is difficult to see who to talk to in this case. Is it Hamas they talk to? Is it Qatar they talk to? Is it Egypt they talk to? But do you think that this growing scale of domestic protest in Israel, you also mentioned lack of trust from public sentiment towards the government's handling. Do you think, is there any way that they can bring the hostages back alive, whoever is still alive?
Your question is wonderful because it's real, because about 65 to 70% in all surveys, they show that the society in Israel don't really trust the actual government. From the other side, we are a democracy and elections are in 2026. So people, they have democratic, despite all the tragedies that we are going through, they have democratic mentality and they want the government to decide about this. And then all the time the discussion of the society and the people that are in manifestations with the families of the hostages is how, what is the limit? What is the border? To block the roads, to burn a lot. I mean, they are desperate, and they are not really doing any influence on the actual government. This is the truth. So from one side, the civilian resilience that we live in a democracy, we have to wait for the government decisions. And from the other side, the desperation that nothing is really happening from our side. And from Hamas side, we know that unfortunately, they are all the time behaving like someone that is getting orders from Iran or from someone
Yes.
we think is from Iran, and they are not really wanting to have a solution to this.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mati Zuaik. That was